How's it going, everybody? How's it going? We're going to get started soon. How's everybody doing?
My fighting spirit. Bandito will have an opportunity to prove that right now.
All right, everybody. Like I said, we're going to get started.
From Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing 231 pounds, he is the AEW
Champion. Moxley. Yeah, gotta love me some Moxley.
AEW 今週から王者108階段102キロデスライダージョン・モクスリー
As the champion makes his way to the ring, let's head to ringside. And the remarkable Renee Paquette for this update. Take it away, Renee.
Bandito grew up watching Jon Moxley. Upon meeting one of his heroes, he realized just how damn hard that man hits. I asked Bandito what else he's been able to learn being in the ring with the leader of the Death Riders the last few weeks. He says tonight he changes his game plan. Tonight he's going to hit back even harder.
So a hard-hitting matchup expected from both champion and challenger. The brawling offense of Jon Moxley, the high-flying power of Bandito.
Every winter, AEW now features the Continental Classic, the month-long tournament that culminates in a match for the AEW Continental Championship. Jon Moxley, this past December, defeated the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, to claim the championship and has been dominant ever since. But Moxley, Walker, is no stranger to the round-robin tournament format. Not only multi-time Continental Championship or Continental Classic competitor, G1 Climax experience as well for Mox.
Yeah, and a lot of New Japan experience we could talk about. Former IWGP Heavyweight Champion circled around Forbidden Door a couple of years ago against Tetsuya Naito. Jon Moxley is a fighting champion and a man who is looking to put results on the board for the AEW Continental title on the line tonight.
Every time he competes, Moxley sets an example as the leader of the Death Riders. Talked about the heart and the soul of
All right,
Bandito.
here we go.
Does a lot of charity work in his hometown, Mexico City. He runs a gym and gives free lessons and shows for those that can't afford it. A true hero and inspiration against his inspiration, perhaps.
It'll be a huge honor for Bandito to return home. AEW Continental Championship in tow, but easier said than done as a collar and elbow tie-up. First touch in this match.
We're going to be talking about the Death Riders a lot, not just throughout this match, but in our upcoming matchup for the IWGP Global Heavyweight title. And I think Jon Moxley is trying to set the stage for Pac when he challenges Shota Umino later on here tonight.
Shota Umino, former protege of Jon Moxley, by some accounts the very first Death Rider, but he was cast out not so gently by Gabe Kidd 2 weeks ago. Moxley breaks down the vertical base of Bandito to the mat. Bandito, though, up into a bridge. Nigel allowing himself to pivot around and then find his feet.
Yep, creating a little bit of space from the Continental Champion as Moxley, I don't want to say apathetic, but very cautious, very slow-moving and methodical. He knows how capable Bandito is when the pace quickens. We'll see what he does with this. Takes aim.
Nigel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know Jon Moxley to have much experience in the world of lucha libre.
You know,
typical Friday night in Arena, Mexico.
It speaks to Moxley and his MO. Whatever match he's in, he tries to make it his style of match, and that's a smart decision from a veteran.
Side headlock. Taken. Bandito comes in the shoulder tackle. Moxley allows the challenger to just basically bounce off of him. Moxley splits the uprise.
Real feeling out process. Early goings here. Yes, this is interesting.
Drawing the proverbial line in the sand to Bandito. Bandito crosses the line with an overhand chop.
Is this Bandito's right strategy? Try to exchange strikes with one of the most violent and dangerous men to ever step in an AEW ring.
Nigel, it's a great point. Jon Moxley is a psychological mastermind. We know Bandito to be the type to go 1,000 miles a minute when he gets the opportunity to. You're not going to move 1,000 miles a minute with shots like this coming your direction.
Moxley allowing or inviting Bandito to play Moxley's game. And Bandito, as talented of a wrestler as he is, I'm not sure he can weather a prolonged storm from Moxley. As Moxley now changing levels, shots to the body, trying to perhaps to get Bandito to drop his hands, but instead, it's Bandito with the drop kick. Moxley to the outside, no. Bandito pivots there, and Moxley comes back around, drop kick to the knee, sends Bandito down to the floor. And now it's Moxley. Whoa! Tope Suicida. Perhaps harkening back to Moxley's time he spent in Arena Mexico, Nigel.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Moxley turned the match into his style, making it about strikes. And then when he got the advantage, almost took one out of the playbook of his opponent, Bandito. There's Tope through the middle there, but wait a second.
Bandito answers with one of his own over the top and connecting with Moxley on the floor.
Bandito is a blink and you'll miss him type of athlete. You cannot turn your back on the Ring of Honor World Champion.
Bandito could be adding another belt to his collection, another championship, if this match continues at this rate. Talked about how Moxley wants to slow this match down. He cannot match the pace of Bandito. Bandito charging in. Oh! Moxley both boots into the chest of Bandito and shut him down.
Excalibur, what did I tell you earlier? Moves 1,000 miles a minute. You're not going to be able to stop him unless he takes shots like that.
Moxley sends Bandito out to the floor. Anytime the action starts heading in this direction, it gets a little tense, Nigel.
Yeah, right there. Oh, you understand why Bandito might be a little tense after.
I was talking about you and I.
Oh, okay. Either way, the tension is beginning to rise. Oh no, what's Moxley thinking of here? Yep. Power driver on the steps. We've done it before.
Moxley employed this before, the power driver on the steps. If Moxley is able to land this.
Por favor, no, Morelos.
Bandito has been sucked right into the Death Rider playground, and now Jon Moxley has no problem taking the attention back inside the ring.
And even though this is a Continental Championship match, everyone is banned from ringside. Nigel, Jon Moxley there, as vicious as it was, simply employed a part of the environment here.
Yeah, to his benefit. And look at Moxley now. If he's just staying warm, limber, having fun.
And referee Aubrey Edwards on the outside conversing with Bandito, seeing if he is able to continue after. Oh no, Bandito.
Oh gosh.
Bandito, the steps opening up a laceration on his head. Can't tell if it's above the mask or. Oh no. Moxley biting the head of Bandito.
Moxley was intimating that there was something in the air. There certainly is.
And now tearing at the mask of Bandito. I can tell you from experience, gentlemen, that if the wound is inside the mask, that is worst case scenario for Bandito, because then it starts bleeding down into your eyes more freely than the other way around.
Jon Moxley has long been considered a sick, twisted bastard. The proof is on your television screens as we speak right now.
Moxley now tearing at the mask of Bandito.
What the hell is this? You gotta be kidding me.
And of course, in Mexico, this would result in instant disqualification for Jon Moxley. However, that is not part of the rules here in AEW.
Jon Moxley is a man with no compunction, no boundaries whatsoever. It's that dark charisma that has enticed many people to follow in the Death Riders.
Bandito struggling to get upright, and perhaps will have to struggle keeping his mask in place as well. It's a battle that does not afford to fight on two fronts, Nigel.
It really weakens the Ring of Honor World Champion. A luchador's mask is sacrosanct. His anonymity, some would say, it gives him his power, his strength, his belief.
But I mean, it's not just about that, Nigel. It's also about respecting tradition, not just of lucha libre, but of Mexican heritage, Mexican
pick
culture.
up one more box of raw
Something that Bandito's very proud of, but something that Jon Moxley perhaps is looking to take away from his challenger.
Bandito, actually a fourth-generation star. Here's a cover. No.
Moxley just lining up those knuckles, targeting that laceration on the head of Bandito.
I truly believe somewhere in the mind of Jon Moxley, he's thinking that Bandito would make a hell of a Death Rider in a different universe, but Bandito has chosen, a walk of life that looks nothing like this. There's no reason that Jon Moxley needs to be laying in these egregious shots here.
Using the forearms, the elbows to try to widen that laceration and force more blood to leave the head, the body of Bandito.
I think it was perhaps the respect that Bandito had for Jon Moxley that led him
5 pounds of
to
aluminum,
follow the
10
breadcrumbs,
pounds
if you
of
will,
steel.
to this type of match. He's given Moxley a clear advantage. Wide open. Count along, if you will. Uno.
All this
Dos.
stuff left behind
Tres.
after the war.
Quattro.
You should make good use
Cinco.
of it.
Watch out. He's going to sink the champion.
Oh, Moxley continuing to land more shots. That interview I mentioned earlier, Bandito said Jon Moxley can't kill my fighting spirit. Moxley certainly appears to be attempting to, at least, but Moxley
Anybody who
across
wants
the
to
ring.
We do what the rest want. Scavenge with the bastards, scavenge with the rest.
Now
You're
Bandito.
okay. You look a little...
As he was being willed on by everybody here in San Jose. Instead of being able to follow up, first watch the impact. And what you didn't see is after that, Bandito slow to follow up because he had to adjust his mask to try to protect his anonymity.
But Moxley,
Yeah.
again, using those elbow strikes to the top of the head and biting.
Come on!
This is disgusting. Well, that's the man that
He's
the
good at
AEW
cleaning
Continental
place up.
Champion is.
He's an animal. It's a pig.
Sure, we take those.
Bandito.
Beautiful sky twister from Bandito. Takes Moxley down, and Bandito follows up. Now as the pace quickens, Moxley finds himself on the defensive. Bandito.
Destruction. How could that work possibly be wrong?
Moxley, as the challenger off, Bandito answers with a drop kick. But Nigel, as more blood leaves the body of Bandito, oxygen, breathing
What the heck was
is
that?
harder to come by for the challenger.
That's exactly right. Blood carries that ever vital oxygen to the muscles, which then have to propel the body forward.
Oh, no, instead, Bandito comes in, knee strike, cover made, 2. Moxley, able to kick out.
The best technique when it comes to a pinning attempt, but you can understand why. To your point, Excalibur. Now the challenger got to start to be feeling a little bit lightheaded.
I think the one advantage that Bandito may have is the fact that you brought up that he trains in Mexico City, far, far above sea level where we are here today in San Jose. So perhaps a little better condition than the champion. Wow! What arm from Bandito!
Look what that conditioning can get you.
And to the top with ease.
Bandito on the climb. On the move. And the front splash wasted too much time. And Moxley greets him with knees.
It may look like a brawler and a street fighter alone, but Moxley, one of the smartest competitors to ever compete in the squared circle.
And that blood that is on the head and body of Jon Moxley does not belong to him. That is the blood of Bandito.
Anybody can hold
That blood for Jon Moxley, though, is going to serve as a life force, no matter who it belongs to here at Excalibur.
Certainly seems Moxley gets awakened by the smell, the taste of blood, whether it's his or his opponent's. And now Moxley charging in. Boot to the face, but Bandito answers one of his own.
Raising blow. Moxley a little bit more on top.
Yeah, Moxley connected firm with that one. Bandito steals himself. Swing underneath. German suplex. Bandito with an opening. If he can
Wait a
capitalize.
second, look where Moxley is. Oh
Bandito.
no.
21 blocks, but got knocked out of his boots by Jon Moxley. Now Moxley, the double underhook. Riders. 1, 2, 3. No!
Well, you don't see that every day. Talk about the spirit of Bandito. It's on display tonight in San Jose.
I'd like to take another look. That high impact right on the back of the neck, across the shoulders of the challenger, and Moxley takes aim once again.
Bandito drawing on those reserves, the fighting spirit as he called it. How much more does he have left? Can Moxley empty the tank? Not often you see someone survive a Death Rider, Nigel. But Moxley, perhaps with something more sinister in store for the challenger.
It's usually people on the inside, on the middle rope, who are looking for the offensive maneuver. Moxley on the outside, and oh no, he's looking for a Death Rider of sorts.
I think Moxley looked over his shoulder at the steel steps that are still out of place on the floor.
Talk about no compunction. Moxley is willing to end a man's career. Oh no, now fighting back.
Bandito
Is embodying that Moxley spirit. There is a Death Rider energy burning deep.
Oh boy.
Bandito, Moxley on the top. What is Bandito?
Precipitous. Oh my God.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Bandito!
Come on, come on.
1, 2. No! Moxley, his turn to escape.
Moonsault down.
penny.
The charges did not stick. What a moment for Bandito tonight.
Decision still hangs in the balance. Take a look at this. A big risk, but it certainly paid off with a big reward. The body weight of Bandito driven into the ribcage of the champion.
And meanwhile, Jon Moxley doing what would otherwise be natural, pulling himself up with the assistance of the ropes, but in doing so, puts himself in jeopardy as Bandito looking for 21 plex, but no, he slipped. I believe the blood from Bandito caused him to slip over the body of Jon Moxley. Now Moxley dragging Bandito through the ropes. Boy, Bandito counters. The roll up, the roll through, but no, Moxley transitions around.
Doggedly gripping, rear naked choke, now the bulldog choke.
John Moxley, the Bulldog, cinched in tight.
You're welcome here. If you can pull your
Bandito
weight.
could be fading rapidly here.
Moxley's got to try to drive forward with his hips. If he lets his opponent back to his feet, that's going to give Bandito plenty of leverage to get out of this hole.
Now the cross-face shots on the bridge of the nose of Bandito. Moxley once again strengthens his grip, strengthens his hold on his challenger, Bandito. We could be witnessing that fighting spirit fade and be extinguished by John Moxley. But look at Bandito, though, carrying the weight of the champion.
The weight of the world on the shoulders of the challenger here tonight for the Continental title.
Bandito somehow, some way carrying Moxley while trapped in the grip, and now, oh, Bandito! No, but Moxley!
No, that was a Hail Mary shot for Bandito, but Moxley's held in too tight here.
And Bandito actually got tighter in. The full body simulation is out.
It's done.
The winner of this match is still AEW Continental Champion, John Moxley.
Yep.
A tremendous effort by Bandito. I don't want to say a calculated risk at the end, Nigel. I think that was a last-ditch effort by the challenger to try to escape the grip of John Moxley, but in doing so, only put himself in deeper water.
Against 99 other men, he would have escaped the hold, but Moxley, perfect body positioning to cinch the hold in tighter and knock out his opponent with the choke.
Cleaning up this mess as well.
Whether you like it or not, John Moxley, for years and years on years to come, has been on a different level. Remaining AEW Continental Champion, that is going to be a nice feather in the cap of the Death Riders as we move on throughout our card here at Excalibur.
We saw Brody King at ringside attending to Bandito. When Moxley waved off Brody. And Nigel, there is one way to earn the respect of a Death Rider, and that is to fight and bleed with them.
By the looks of things, that's exactly what Bandito has done. He earned the respect of John Moxley, but not his Continental title.
A tough loss for Bandito, but the reign of John Moxley as AEW Continental Champion continues.
You believe me if I told you we had to chase a death claw out of this place?
Yeah.
I just looked off my monitor up at the ring. I see Bandito. He made his way to his feet, but he was swaying very unsteadily. I'm sure the blood loss combined with the submission hold, the sleeper, is going to be causing Bandito some issues for days to come. But John Moxley, that man, remains your AEW Continental Champion. But from the Continental Championship in John Moxley to a man who is considered to be perhaps the very first Death Rider, Walker Stewart, Shota Umino, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion.
14 days ago, Shota Umino won his first singles championship, his first career title in professional wrestling. The IWGP Global Heavyweight title is on the line. It's coming up next.
But on that same night, Nigel, Shota Umino forcefully expelled from any semblance of Death Rider membership by Gabe Kidd.
Gabe Kidd making a statement, and we'll see what Shota Umino does with that as he takes on one of the Death Riders here tonight.
The Bastard Pack, intent on claiming the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. In order to do so, he will go through the man that 2 weeks ago earned that crown, Shota Umino.
Shota Umino, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I hope you got the message that Gabe sent to you.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh my
Wait
God,
a second.
what the hell? This man betrayed that lion, Mark.
And I bet you want revenge, don't you?
I come with a message from the Death Riders. You were never one of us. It was a token because we stand on business.
世界中のレスラーを相手にする準備はできているよ。
Forbidden Door. I'll be there. Why don't you be there? And come fight for your honor. And whilst you're at it, why don't you bring it to IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship for the ride?
おいパック、フォービデンドアで会おうぜ。
If you have the balls, then I will help you comprehend why we do what we do.
This basketball ball is for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Introducing the challenger from Newcastle upon Tyne, England, weighing 217 pounds. He is a bastard. IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship 一本勝負を取ります。チャレンジャーデスライヤー173センチ88キロザ・バスターパッカー
Pac getting some last-minute encouragement from the Death Riders as he steps into this battle, a fight that he was allowed to pick due to the fact that Gabe Kidd and ostensibly the rest of the Death Riders felt like Shota Umino had strayed from the herd, that he no longer represented what the Death Riders are all about.
Well, you can say for years that Shota Umino hasn't exactly wanted to be a Death Rider. He's wanted to lead the main unit, the Hontai Force in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Shota Umino cannot shake these ties that he has to his past with Jon Moxley, the leader of the Death Riders. Gabe Kidd capitalizing on a very emotional weak point for Umino, just off the back of his career high back 14 days ago when he won that title. Tonight, here at Excalibur, we will see Pac challenge Shota Umino for the IWGP Global Gold.
And his opponent from Tokyo, Japan, weighing 227 pounds, he is the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, Shota Umino. 第8代 IWGP グローバルチャンピオン、183センチ、103キロ、Umino!
It's time to not get more dead.
Give our thanks to here tonight. Before we go into the career, the resume of Shota Umino, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, of course, the IWGP International Wrestling Grand Prix, the governing body of all titles in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but the Global Championship, a relatively new title in history, the lineage of New Japan.
Well, for fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling around a decade ago, you could consider it the spiritual successor to the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. The new white belt in the presence of Shota Umino, a man who defeated Andrade El Idolo 14 days ago. And trust me, gentlemen, Umino takes a lot of pride in defeating an AEW star to win in that global title back in Osaka. Tonight, he defends it against Pac.
Pac immediately charging out of the corner of boot. I think Shota, he was looking over his shoulder, perhaps remnants of that attack from behind by Gabe Kidd, but that allowed Pac to immediately take control of this match, Nigel.
Yeah, and right away, they're heading in our direction. Good look. Watch out.
Life is better.
Umino hard into the barricade.
Umino well aware the MO of the Death Riders. You mentioned it. He was at one time a young boy of sorts of Jon Moxley, and it was Moxley that gave him the nickname Shota or Shooter, as the case may be. Since then has gone by the moniker of Roughneck. He's a real brawler, a real fighter, but did not get out the gates thus far against the Perfect Soldier.
I mean, truth be told, Shota Umino's gone through a lot of personal changes. It's been a very difficult journey for Umino to find himself over the course of the past 5 years, ever since he was taken under Jon Moxley's tutelage in Wigan. A lot has changed for Jon Moxley. Umino now can call himself a champion for the first time in his pro wrestling career. And it is Umino who is not going to be let that title go anytime soon.
And Walker, it's almost as if Shota Umino, he strayed from the herd. He strayed from the foundation of New Japan Pro Wrestling by adopting those Death Rider ways, and over the last few years is just trying to make amends, a penance, if you will, to join, as you said, the main unit of New Japan Pro Wrestling as its leader.
That's certainly one way that you could put it. I mean, Shota Umino, for all he's said and done in his career, he's talked a lot of talk, but he's never been able to back it up inside the ring, even when he was with Jon Moxley and under that Death Rider tutelage, if you will. But all that changed 14 days ago, and Gabe Kidd putting that attack in on Shota Umino after Umino pinned an AEW wrestler in Andrade El Idolo. I think that Gabe Kidd,
just like a cover here,
I think Gabe Kidd is a man who was flying the lion mark high and prideful in New Japan, and now is saying, I'm AEW born, I'm AEW bred. I mean, it's been a total change in perspective all across the board here.
Gabe Kidd, the consummate mercenary, he will go to wherever the prize is richest. Pac. He's a man who, albeit at different times, almost a cracked mirror version of the pro wrestling journey of Shota Umino. Of course, Pac, growing up in Newcastle, spent large portions of his career in Japan competing in his style. Likewise, Shota Umino spent large portions of his career, those 5 years that he spent competing in the UK.
It was in that European independence scene where these two men had their one and only singles matchup. It was for, at the time, what was known as the AEW All-Atlantic Championship that Pac had held at the time.
Go on to be known as the AEW International Championship, currently held by Konosuke Takeshita.
It's a classic journey. Classic journey for Japanese stars to head overseas. The great Satoru Siyama, Jushin Thunder Liger, spending plenty of time in the UK as well, but right now, this is getting into a real strike fest. Battle of wills.
Umino out of the corner, and instead turns things around on Pac. Elbows, chops, elbows, chops.
And the one and only time these two met in the singles capacity came in 2022 for that former All-Atlantic title, now the international title. And I mean, Shota Umino and Pac, for all that's been said and done here at Excalibur, they've changed so much over the course of those 4 years.
Very much so. And Pac, of course, the former All-Atlantic or international champion, two-time former AEW World Trios champion. He's a man, though, who has never held gold in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now is his opportunity to do so, but not the fisherman suplex. Nice grip by Umino. And Shota Umino, Walker, is a man that has grown up around the sport of professional wrestling ever since a very young age.
Yeah, second-generation star. His father, referee Red Shoes Umino, over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Shota certainly has pro wrestling in his blood. And that is something that Gabe Kidd has certainly ripped on a little bit whenever he put that attack in back in Osaka 2 weeks ago.
Back body drop attempted. Shota counters. Very nearly caught Pac sleeping there.
Yeah, you got to watch Shota Umino, this explosive offense you're going to see, and keep your eye on this one. Head to apron connection. That is a Shota Umino staple right there, gentlemen. And coming out flush here tonight in San Jose.
Pac might need some staples in the top of his head.
Planted firmly on the ring apron by Umino. And not just like a regular DDT, but the weight of Umino coming over the top, and then the added momentum of going all the way down to the floor.
There's a lot you can talk about between Shota Umino and Pac in terms of experience differential. I mean, the one tour that Pac did in New Japan in 2012, Shota Umino hadn't even started his pro wrestling career. I mean, that is the levels of experience we're talking about here for the challenger.
The official up to 7 here.
Walker, to your point, Pac with more than double the in-ring experience.
And you can see, I mean, we're looking at it right now, Excalibur. Taking it back to the outside, getting right into the mental of Shota Umino.
But Nigel, you know what this tells me? That Pac, I think he got his bell rung by Shota.
Definitely a possibility. Slowly. Oh! Ring-a-ding-ding.
The drop kick by Shota sends Pac hard into the barricade. You can see how far that barricade moved due to the impact.
Is a downgrade from killing people.
Top of the head.
Another!
A lot of head and neck trauma from Umino to Pac, and that's going to set up beautifully for that second chapter, the Northern Lights bomb that Umino used to put down Andrade 2 weeks ago for the title.
Just watch this. It was Pac backtailing and then straight driven. The guardrail moving. And if you want some impact, watch that spiked Pac right on top of the head with the previous damage on the apron. The Death Rider is hurt. Can he come back?
Return to the ring. It's the Bastard Pac, Shota Umino. Sticking close to his challenger. Some up, power bomb.
Jeez.
Just depositing Pac with force. 2.
Oof.
Explosive kick out by Pac.
Oh, buy me dinner first. My God. Look at the eyes of Pac rolling around in his skull like marbles.
You mentioned Shota's experience on the European and independent scene. It was in those travels where he developed a friendship with Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, in very, very different times, Walker. And it was that one. Oh, wait a second! Oh, belly to belly overhead throw. Seemed like Umino tried to pull up short at the very last moment, but Pac just too powerful.
Couldn't avoid the throw, avoided some of the impact, but instead it was the left leg of Umino that collided, and instead, look at that, just absolute stopping a mud hole, if they have those in Newcastle, into the chest.
I think they have mud everywhere.
But they're more than their fair share, to be honest with you. I've been to Newcastle.
This is far from the first time Shota Umino has had to collide with the Death Riders. Defeating Claudio Castagnoli back at Wrestle Dynasty in the Tokyo Dome last year. And we are introducing the hardware tonight.
Change of complexion here.
Shota has no intention. Feeling the effects of that table, Pac. Hey, wait a second, Shota perhaps.
Don't ask.
Shota being warned by referee Paul Turner. And Walker, as this is an IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match, it is a longer count instead of the standard 10 count on the floor on AEW.
Japanese style 20 count inside or outside the ring, rather. Well, that does not make a table shot like this legal whatsoever, and our official going to allow a little bit of leniency here tonight.
But Pac, oh, thrust kick, catching Shota flush on the jaw.
It was a shot through a table that ended Shota Umino's New Japan Cup run in March this year. Former New Japan Cup winner Callum Newman on that night. I think that this could very well spell bad intentions for the Roughneck going forward.
Whiskey.
Watch this.
Looks over his shoulder.
No, 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 no!
From the top rope! Springboard, swan diving moonsault from the Bastard.
Makes it look easy. Doesn't even cover it. Absolutely seamless. And the official starts the count again. Up to 3. Pac with 17 seconds to employ some damage. Instead, elected to go inside.
Get out of my way. I wonder what you
Umino, the champion,
like.
struggling here as Pac has swung the pendulum of balance in this match into the favor of the challenger.
Pac calm
All right,
offense.
we're gonna call it